All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the WeBook It podcast. Let's start the show.
Yo, what's up, WeBook It fam? This is your boy Big Daddy C. Coming at you with another episode of the... There's some technical difficulties here. Wi-Fi is being some ass today. All right. Coming back at you with another episode of the Raw Dog Monday show. Coach is he may be recovering from his birthday celebration yesterday, so check it out, run this thing solo. We had a good show, good Monday Night Raw show. It was earlier today, to my knowledge, because they were still in Paris, and so Paris is like about 7 hours ahead of my time here in Springfield, Illinois, So this is basically a fallout, the aftermath of Clash in Paris. And so the crowd was still rampant as usual. Jey Uso made his way out with the people chanting and singing his name, singing his entrance theme. Jey was still banged up and in a bad mood after falling short of winning the World Championship in a Fatal 4-Way match at Clash the night before. Well, a couple of nights before. Well, no. Yeah, last night. I'm sorry, y'all. And so he said he didn't regret helping Roman Reigns, even though it ended up getting him hurt because his family. Roman Reigns, as we know, defeated Bronson Reed, and then he was ultimately taken out by Reed and Braun Breaker. Even after all that. He did call out the Vision for a fight, but LA Knight came out there instead. He said that they both lost last night, but it was Jay's fault because he couldn't focus when it mattered. He couldn't focus on what mattered. And so basically what he was referring to is that they had opportunities to stop Seth Rollins and basically take him out of the equation. There was one point where they had a chance to put Seth Rollins to a table to basically combine for the 1D. But he super kicked CM Punk. And then eventually Punk and LA Knight will start going at it. And then he super kicks LA Knight over the barrier. And so it was just several occasions where he stopped. They could have teamed up on Seth Rollins to take him out. But Jay was like, no, I don't trust nobody. I'm trying to win this thing for myself. And so obviously we know Seth Rollins would eventually retain due to the assistance of his wife, Becky Lynch, who is now officially part of the Vision. So basically after this, Braun Breaker, during this promo here, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed came out to the stage to talk some trash. After a few minutes of back and forth insults, they challenged Jey Uso and LA Knight to a tag team match, which they accepted to end the segment. The crowd was into it. It was ready. Next up, we had our first match of the night. We had the Judgment Day versus the Kabuki Warriors. Basically, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane. Basically, the match started out with a basic lockup struggle. Perez was slapping Asuka and then immediately retreated out of the ring to avoid a kick from her. Both teams kept a steady pace. A lot of tags was being exchanged. Sane and Perez had a nice little sequence before Raquel would tag herself in. Raquel will get tagged in. She will overpower Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane eventually take Raquel out at the ringside with the signature elbow. Asuka would get the win for the Kabuki Warriors with the Asuka lock on Roxanne. Asuka tried to end with a different move, but it was like a little botch there. But she improvised and kind of made the best of it. There was a moment backstage where Io was shown talking to Asuka and Kairi Sane. It was clear that Asuka did not want to help Io at all tonight, even though they've helped her previously. So there's still some tension there. We'll see how that how that unfolds in the coming weeks. Next up, we have Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee. This was a very good match. And so JD McDonough, he accompanied Finn Balor to the ring. And then Balor, he took control right away with a wrist lock, basically wrestled Lee to the mat. But Dragon Lee, he was executing some great reversals. They both traded some great moves, but Finn Balor seemed to have the advantage most of the match. After we came back from commercial break, Dragon Lee was making a comeback. He had a series of fast-paced moves that he executed that sent Finn Balor reeling. The crowd was chanting, waving his arms as Dragon Lee was on a roll. But as soon as Finn Balor hits his drop kick, the crowd was on his side again. He had a coup de grace for the pin and the win to end this match. This is great. This is a pretty solid match here. These two are good veterans in the ring, and so we need to see more matches like this week in, week out. Even if it doesn't have any tie-ins with a storyline. Next up, let's see here. Next up, we had the New Day and Grayson Waller versus the War Raiders and Penta. We know Grayson Waller's been, aligning himself with the New Day, at least trying to get in, be an official member of the group. So that's what's been happening. But yeah, we got this nice little 6-man tag match. It's been a while since we've seen the War Raiders, so it's nice. It's good to see them back on television. Especially in a match featuring the New Day, which is one of their, it's basically their longtime rival. And so the Vikings, the War Raiders and Penta basically took out the opponents with some triple team offense. Penta did his little strut as we went into the commercial break. Like I said, there's so much chemistry with the New Day and the War Raiders. It's nothing new that we can see at this point. But since it's been a while, we saw these two teams lock up. We didn't feel the sense of being bored and tired of it. So it's good to see them going at it again. All 6 men did their thing. Everyone looked great. But Eric and Ivar were the stars of the belt. The crowd was happy to see them back in action. Like I said, it's been a long time. But eventually Penta and the War Raiders will get the win over the New Day and Grayson Waller. Let me see here. We did have a match later on with AJ Styles and Dominik Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. But prior to that, Adam Pearce was shown backstage banning Balor and JD McDonough from ringside during Dom's match later on in the show. And then here comes the match itself. And so Dom basically attacked Styles during the official introductions to basically give himself an early advantage. But AJ Styles will fire back with his trademark drop kick, followed by a slingshot elbow at ringside after we came back from commercial break. Dom eventually would take control of the match when he was keeping the pace slow to keep AJ Styles grounded. But AJ Styles, with him being such a veteran in the ring, he eventually turned the tables. This match did have a fair amount of commercials, which wasn't too happy with, but it is what it is. But the crowd was still loud and on his feet the entire time. But it is Paris, man. Overseas crowds are gonna always stay. They always gonna stay into it. Engaged. And so they made this match feel a lot more important than it pretty much ended up being. Styles and Mysterio did a great job giving them reasons to cheer. However, this is the part that pissed me off. And I'm at this point, I'm tired of seeing them. I don't care who's under the costume, under the mask. I'm just tired of seeing this motherfucking El Grande Americano show up and interfere in matches. I'm sick of this shit. I'm tired of it. Like, he interfered and basically pulled AJ Styles off the rope as he was going for the phenomenal elbow or forearm, and he pulls him off the rope and then puts the little steel plate in his mask and headbutts AJ in like the chest. And this would allow Dom Mysterio to take advantage, hit the frog splash for the pin, and retain his championship. Yeah, so like I said, I'm tired of El Grande Americano. I don't care if it's Chad Gable, Ludwig Kaiser, whoever. Like, I'm just tired of El Grande Americano. Get this fucker off the television. Scrap his character completely. It's trash. It was a trash idea to begin with. I'm done with it. It was a nice little moment where it was, some comedic moments, but I'm over it now. Get rid of him. Get rid of him completely. All right. Next up, there was another segment. Lyra Valkyria had a quick backstage talk with Adam Pearce that led to her being booked in a match next week. And then there was a fun fact a fun fact that Cole mentioned, Michael Cole mentioned on commentary, says that this was the first time that the Intercontinental title has been defended in France since 1993. That's a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about what? About 30, almost 30 some years, I guess. Probably more than that, I don't know. But yeah, that's a long time. That is a very, very, very long time. Actually, it is over 30 years because, let's see, 93, 7 plus 25. Yep, about 32 years, well over 30. So yeah, it's nice to see a Intercontinental Championship match being defended overseas. It was pretty nice to see. Next up, we had a very interesting promo segment. CM Punk came out here. He had been waiting on Seth Rollins all night. He comes out to the ring, calls out Seth Rollins, but what he got instead was Becky Lynch coming out there to her husband's music. Of course, the crowd was chanting for AJ Lee, and Becky Lynch would continue to mock them as they were doing it. Becky Lynch essentially, was going at Punk for insulting and attacking Seth Rollins repeatedly. CM Punk would call Rollins a coward, basically say your husband is a coward. And then Becky was like, all right, he's everything that you will never be. One of those things happens to be champion, which technically, CM Punk has been, champion, about 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, I don't know what she means there, but maybe she's speaking in present tense. But Seth Rollins would eventually come out there to the stage after Becky and Punk was going at it. And he told CM Punk to come say what he has to say to his face. But as CM Punk was trying to get out the ring, Becky Lynch, of course, would block CM Punk's path everywhere he would move. And eventually, as Seth would leave the stage, Becky would start smacking CM Punk repeatedly and, headbutting him, all this other shit. And Punk looked at it and said, hey, look, I'm gonna make Seth regret cashing in on me, but you're gonna regret putting your hands on him. Clearly, he's hinting at the fact that AJ Lee, he might go get his wife, All right. We've seen storylines like this play out back in the day. I think most recently, I want to say You had Miz and Maurice go against John Cena and Nikki Bella at WrestleMania some years ago. So I think that might have been the last time we had a the couples match basically. And so yeah, man, this storyline is getting more on fire, and Becky, I was, I didn't think Becky Lynch was going to, really go at him, like, really hold her own in the promo against Punk, but she did her thing. So so we'll see how things play out in the coming weeks. There's more information surrounding that storyline that we'll get into. Jey Uso and LA Knight will have their battle against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This was the main event of the show. And so Bronson and Jay will start the match. LA Knight quickly tagged himself in to give Uso some help taking on a big man. This match played out as most matches like this would tend to go. Both teams got in about the same amount of offense. The heels would cheat from time to time, but the baby faces will eventually find ways to rally and take control of the match. That's exactly what happens in this match here. Uso and LA Knight almost made a successful comeback, but Braun Breaker was able to get the victory with a spear. As usual, winning was not enough for the Browns, and so they kept up the attack, but eventually Jimmy Uso will make a surprise appearance with a ring. Surprise appearance running to the ring with a steel chair to make the save for his brother, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Will basically just get out of the ring, and that's pretty much how Monday Night Raw ended. There was another segment. Here. There are several segments in relation to the CM Punk situation that happened throughout the night. Like I said, CM Punk had been waiting on Seth Rollins the entire time, the entire night. So I want to say probably after the segment with Becky, he met up with Adam Pearce again, and he asked, he's like, where is SmackDown gonna be at? He's like, in Chicago. Why? And CM Punk just smiled at him, and he's like, cool, say no more. And so basically we're gonna see CM Punk on SmackDown this Friday night, and I would not be surprised if we happen to see AJ Lee pop up. Now I don't know what, I would imagine they're gonna have Becky show up again, because I know they had Becky show up last week on SmackDown when they were not this past Friday, but the Friday before last, when they were in Ireland or something. No, not Ireland. What's up, Coach? You good? You good, man? I was just about finishing up, but I was talking about the basically the whole thing with Becky and Seth. And how Punk is basically going to show up on SmackDown. But I was talking about like how they're going to incorporate bringing Becky and Seth and all of them on SmackDown when they're not SmackDown roster. Yeah. So, but Becky was on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago when they were in her hometown. So they'll find a way, I'm sure. Any thoughts on some of the highlights of Raw tonight? Well, earlier today, because I did not realize they was going to be on up until I saw WWE posting, and then I was like, oh damn, they're still in Paris right now. So they're like 7 hours ahead of us. I'm like, they're on right now. So Yep.
Well, yeah, first off, I want to apologize for being on late. We had our
You
first
good?
day of practice today, and
Oh, yeah, season ramping back up.
I
Yeah.
was exhausted and was like, I'll just take a quick 20-minute nap after dinner. 20 minutes turned into 2 hours.
Hey, I know how that is all the time.
So yeah, that I apologize to the viewers and to UC for
No, you good.
for not jumping on. But I mean, really, as a whole, I think what disappointed me the most about the Raw was that it was you had your IC championship and it wasn't the main event, where we had kind of the same tag team event being the main event over and over again. It's just repetitive at that point, and it just feels lazy. I know what they're doing. They're getting the Usos back together, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But come on, that crowd was electric all day, and it was the most electric when AJ Styles was out there. Also, I hated the way that match ended too, with the interference. I guess along the lines, you could say that AJ is going to get another chance, but this is more teasing that El Grande Americano is going to help Dom win at Worlds Collide for the AAA championship.
You missed my rant. You missed my rant on El Grande. Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
I just think, I mean, they pretty much gave away the playbook that they're going to let El Grande help out Dom win it at Worlds Collide.
Yeah, I gave a nice little rant about Mr. El Grande Americano. I am tired of this man. I don't care who is under the mask. I don't care. I don't care if it's Chad. I don't care if it's Ludwig Kaiser. I'm tired of him. Get him off my screen. Like, I'm done. Like, it was nice little fun gimmick when it initially started, but now no. And we didn't even find out who was mentoring Chad Gable.
Yep.
And so, like, yeah, I'm over it now. Like, it's just go ahead, scrap them all together, especially if y'all using multiple guys to portray him. I'm over it now. And it's just like, why is AJ? I get it. He has him winning the championship. Yeah, I want him to win it so he can get that Grand Slam. But I don't want to see him go out like this, putting people it's not. I like that he's putting people over. Don't get me wrong. It's just that, I'll much rather him go out, having some good momentum, having some good wins under his belt, against meaningful opponents, not just people that we know he can beat, week in, week out. So yeah, that was my issue, just mainly that Intercontinental Championship match. Everything else, I do think the tag team thing is repetitive. We're seeing the same people in the show week in, week out. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think they did talk about, in addition, they did talk about the whole Roman Reigns thing. He was taken out or written out to finish up Street Fighter with Cody. That's why we ain't seen Cody either. Where is our undisputed WWE champion? We know where he's at, but he's earned the right to have time off because he's carried this damn company over the last 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years or so since he's been back. So he's earned a little time off, Now, and plus Cena's here. Cena's back having his last run. So it ain't like they need Cody right now,
Right.
So they'll be all right. But yeah, other than those two matches tonight, I think everything else is pretty solid. Any thoughts on any of the women's matches?
No, not really. I think that Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, that's a good choice. I am curious to see how things keep going with Asuka and Io Sky, to just how that rivalry is going to build. But the matches themselves, I mean, they were fine. I just thought everything was kind of okay over there. The crowd was great, though, but nothing really stood out to me except for the IC title match, which kind of got ruined at the end there.
Yeah. Totally agree. Since you're here, you want to close us out? You know, my final grade for the show, I give it a solid B.
Yeah, I'll give it a B- at this case. So yeah, I'll close it out. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in to Big Daddy C taking over tonight for Raw Dog Monday. I apologize once again, but please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to all of our content here at the WeBook It podcast. I'm Coach. He's Big Daddy C. We'll see you next time. I promise I will be on time next time on Monday Night Raw Dog. See you, everybody.
Peace, y'all.